The internet has become a very convenient means of gaining public exposure and putting your name out to and connecting with the rest of the world, thanks to places like Instagram, Twitter, before it became a hot dumpster fire, and YouTube, among several others. In this day and age, it provides many benefits for the people who use it, but as some people may have told you, it can be a very scary place. Personal and credit card information can be stolen all with the click of a link, and you could also lose valuable hard-earned money to people who most likely have nothing better to do with their lives. And that's not talking about other tidbits of sensitive information that you could put at risk if you're not careful on the internet. As much as I wish this wasn't true, nobody on the internet is safe from scammers, and the same goes for artists. If you're an artist and you're not careful, you could lose money, personal info, or even your own artwork to these scammers. And if you don't know what to spot when seeing an email or message that might look promising at first, you could be at risk of becoming the scammer's next catch. In fact, if I wasn't already made aware of what kinds of messages and other things to avoid, I'm fairly certain that I myself would have fallen victim to these kinds of scams. So today I'm here to talk about some of the internet scams that are targeted towards or can in some way affect artists specifically, as well as warning signs to avoid. Some of these were very common scams back in 2023, but some of these other scams are ones I've run into very recently. And I still want to alert the artist population of the internet in the event that you might run into these scams yourself in the future. But anyhow, if you're new here and you want to know how to stay as safe as possible on the scary place called the internet, especially as a content creator, then make sure to like and subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, then welcome back to the spaghetti layer. Either way, strap your butts in because here we go! I'll break this video down into two parts, the scams themselves and how to avoid them. Scams that are more targeted towards artists can be found on both social media and in your emails, so I'll be covering those two areas for this video. Let's start off with social media scams, which have been causing a lot of trouble on Instagram in particular, but I've also heard these scams can be found on places like Facebook. Social media is a popular and often crucial means of promoting our own stuff, but Instagram DMs have become a hotbed of scammer activity in recent years. Imagine you're just minding your own business posting something new to Instagram, whether that's a new illustration or just a silly photo. 5 minutes later, or something like that, you'll get a notification in your DMs from someone who you've never seen on the app before. If that DM turns out to be a scam message, this could go in one of several ways. The first Instagram-based scam that I had experience with was something I like to call the NFT scam. When I first encountered this scam back in 2023, I was completely unaware that this type of scam was a thing, and I thought it was a legit message. But because I at least have a modicum of self-respect and absolutely despise NFTs, short for non-fungible tokens, and their impact on the environment, and that's putting aside the art theft aspect of it, I just blocked this person immediately. Even though NFTs have fallen off hard in the last couple of years, as they should, this is something I still want to bring to everyone's attention. The message that the scammer will set as bait for the artist will usually begin with something like, "Hey mate, I would love to buy some of your artwork as NFT." In fairness to myself, I think the primary reason I thought this was a legit message at the time was because the scammer had NFT in their username. But later learning this was a common scam? Yeah. There are several articles detailing how these kinds of scammers will rip you off. They'll start by having you set up an account on some sort of platform, probably a platform that supports crypto wallets, but I'm not an expert on crypto sites, and to be honest, I have no interest in foraying into that side of the internet. But anyway. The scammer will instruct you to buy a form of cryptocurrency, usually Ethereum, to pay the fees for the supposed transaction or to convert your art to NFTs before sending your cryptocurrency to a wallet. Once this happens, the scammer will take your cryptocurrency from that wallet, transfer it somewhere else, and leave you in the dust. A moment of silence for your hard-earned cash. Another very common scam that you may have had the misfortune of coming across is something that I'll call the commission scam. Similar to the NFT scam, the scammers who specialize in this kind of scheme will attempt to lure you in via Instagram DMs. A usually telltale sign of this scam is that the scammer will open the conversation with the words, "Are you available for commission?" Regardless of whether or not your commission slots are open, saying this from experience, the scammer will respond by saying something to the effect of, "Awesome! I went through your page and I think I just fell in love with your art. I want you to draw a portrait of my pet/child with their name written on it, lol. Willing to pay you." If they ask for a portrait of their non-existent child, they'll usually have the excuse of it being their child's birthday. Keep in mind, they'll say that they fell in love with your art, but they will say this without following you or liking a single one of your posts. If you agree to the scammer's offer, they will ask you for a payment method, usually PayPal, and they'll always insist on sending you a transfer as soon as possible so that they can get your PayPal email address and your name. If you insist on any other method, they'll push back to the PayPal transfer because it's the easiest method. Or so they claim. And should you give them that information, chances are you'll get an email containing a link. Whatever you do, don't click on the link. Just don't. Easiest way to get your stuff stolen. Another thing you shouldn't do is wire money to anyone, at least in this specific scenario. According to a 2023 post from Tumblr user Micah Artwork, what should ideally happen in this situation is that the client should give you their email instead of it being the other way around. The aforementioned Tumblr post also details several possible outcomes regarding you and the fate of your money. One such possibility is that the scammer will pay you more than what was agreed upon. For example, they may send you $200 USD when you both had already agreed on $100 instead. The scammer will then ask you to wire the difference between those two amounts back to them. If for whatever reason you wire back that money, your hard-earned cash will go to a different account, and let's just say you won't be seeing that money again anytime soon. The same will happen if the scammer overpays you for, supposedly, shipping costs. Similar to the last possibility, they'll typically ask you to wire the difference to their shipping company. And just when you thought the art of the scammer couldn't get any worse, the other two possible outcomes listed in the Tumblr post are somehow even more messed up. If you transfer the money from your PayPal credit to your bank account, the scammer will make your life miserable, calling you a whole host of things including a scammer and a thief before pressuring you into wiring the money back to them. Siri, what is projection? And in a lot of cases, these scammers will use accounts that have been stolen from actual people. This is something that I myself have witnessed on Instagram, and I have no doubt that this is an issue on PayPal as well. There is a chance that the account's actual owner will notice what's been going on and request a refund through official means. As a result, your own account will be charged with fees, and you could get in trouble for fraudulent transactions. Truly, there is no low these folks won't reach. Of course, this isn't even covering some of the other Instagram scams you might find in your DMs. You may also see scam messages advertising for things like fake art exhibitions where the scammer offers to feature your art in an exhibition or gallery show in exchange for a fee. In reality, there is no exhibition. They just want to take your art and your money. Another scam in this vein to be aware of is the fraudulent art buyer. A scammer who chooses to approach you in this way will start off by introducing themselves, typically under an alias, claiming they found you online and that they would like to commission you for an artwork for what is supposedly a special occasion. An anniversary, for example. They'll ask you to provide some of your own art that you believe would sell for any amount within a specific price range. An artist might spend weeks creating an artwork for the scammer before shipping it off and then never hearing from the fraudulent art buyer again. And they never get the payment they were promised either. This is because the scammer requests that you ship your artwork to them before you get your payment. In an ideal scenario, you should always take a deposit before starting your piece and don't ship the work until you have been paid in full. A scam that is in turn similar to the fake art buyer is a contract scam, where a client will come to you with a contract for you to sign, but this contract may contain hidden fees or may also require you to sign over the rights to your artwork. And speaking of legalities, there's also a scam where individuals or companies may ask you to create artwork that is either illegal, offensive, or a combination of the two. I think this is one of the worst ones I've heard about while doing my supplemental research for this video, because this is a scam that can result in long-term reputation damage. And as the website learnminecraft.com states in an article where they talk about social media art scams, this kind of scam could affect your ability to use social media platforms and professional services in the future. Your ability to use social media could also be affected via fake follower scams, where bots that are coded to engage with genuine accounts might sell you fake followers or likes. As tempting as this may sound, it's imperative that you don't cave into temptation, as this is against the terms of service of a lot of social media sites. If you get caught, your account could get suspended or even deleted, and this could also damage your reputation among your followers. Earlier in this video, I mentioned that you can also find scam messages in your emails. Yes, not even your emails are safe, and I actually almost fell for an email scam not too long ago. These email scams can not only be targeted towards artists, but to other types of content creators and really just anyone who's looking to put their name out on the internet and increase their reputation. Usually, at least for me anyway, these kinds of emails will end up in the spam folder. But for anyone who ventures to that side of their emails, these scam messages will almost certainly catch the eye of a few curious folks. Some of the scams you can find on social media can also be found in your emails, like the fraudulent art buyers, but you may also find emails that claim to help you be one of the first results on search engines like Google. It seems tempting, much like the false followers and likes scam, but again, do not cave into temptation. The scammer may ask to send you a quote, but this is probably a good way to lose your money. I say probably because I haven't tested it for myself, nor do I want to. And I don't encourage anyone else to test this theory. Save your wallets. Another major scam you might encounter if you're a content creator is something that I have affectionately, or maybe jokingly, called the collaboration scam. Collaborations with businesses can be a great way to increase your reputation and your exposure in a very saturated industry, and I had the honor of working with a tablet company myself back in October. But as always, it's very important to be cognizant of how your prospective client is behaving, and the signs might not even be obvious until you engage with them further. This is something that I also personally wouldn't encourage, but I wanted to state this anyway. I've encountered 2 of these collaboration type scams. One was very obvious, and the other one was a little more subtle. The scammer will approach you with a collaboration or sponsorship offer. Ideally, you don't have to pay out of your own pocket for the product that the company wants you to review. If the company wants you to buy the product beforehand or wants you to wire a given amount to them via PayPal, it's most likely a scam. And again, a good way to lose your money via the overpaying method I mentioned earlier. The NFT and commission scams might come to mind here. So how can you keep yourself safe from these kinds of scams? First and foremost, stay informed. These scams always follow some sort of formula, and there are multiple signs that a promising and shiny new offer might not be what it looks like at first. While some of the traits I'm about to mention aren't inherent signs of a scam by themselves, others are blaring red flags and a sign that you should run for the hills as fast as you can. A post from an Instagram account called InstaScamgram, and also an account that I follow, called Anatomy of a Scammer 101, goes into detail about what to spot when it comes to potential scams on Instagram specifically. But if you spot scam messages on other social media sites, most of these rules are sure to apply there as well. However, some of the traits mentioned can also apply to the email scams. The first thing you should do is pay attention to the scammer's username and their display name or alias. If there's a discrepancy between the two, then this is a clear indicator that you might be dealing with either a stolen account or someone who might not be who they claim to be. To be fair, some people do use nicknames, but it's always good to check. You may also notice that if the scammer is on a place like Instagram, they'll usually have an absurd follower to post ratio. For example, they might have 9,000 followers and only 10 posts. Their accounts will either be private or have pictures that some would consider generic, like selfies, perhaps. Because these scammers blast out the same message en masse to a large number of people at a time, their opening messages are often copy-paste in nature. It's not uncommon to see multiple messages from multiple people that go the exact same way or in some variation of it. If it's a commission scam, you may see something that says, "Are you available for commission?" A variation of this can look like this message I got earlier this year that says, "Hello there, how are you doing? Would like to know if you're available for commission." You may also notice the generally poor grammar that a lot of these scam messages have. Now, under most circumstances, I would never clown on someone's English proficiency, especially if it's not their native language. And I wouldn't make fun of someone's grammar skills if it's something they genuinely struggle with. But it becomes a different thing entirely when something like bad grammar, for example, greetings of the day and may this email find you at your best, from someone calling themselves a name like Nancy McDonald, becomes a hallmark sign of a potential scam. Again, I'm not trying to be pejorative, this is just something I've come across multiple times in scam messages and emails in the past. Something else that can give the scam away is if the scammer seems impatient to get the payment part over with, or wants to rush the payment process. They'll also come off as desperate to get you into their trap. For example, they might tell you that they want to participate in an upcoming sales event, but don't have enough of a following to do so. If the scammer contacts you on Instagram, they may tack on a message saying, "Are you there?" or one with just question marks if a certain amount of time passes without you responding to their terms. If it's a commission scam, they may not want the sketches that you would normally do for a regular commission. They just want to know how much money they'll have to pay up front. Some collaboration scams, like this one I encountered a few months ago, can also be pretty ambiguous in a way similar to the commission scam, where the scammer might say, "Oh, don't do the sketches." The scammer doing the collaboration scam might say something like, "We're giving you $500 to record something interesting." Emphasis on something interesting. But I also want to mention here, trust your intuition. If something seems too good to be true or seems suspicious, it probably is. And I said this earlier, but I'll stress it again. Don't click any links. Just don't. All it takes is one click of the link to get a virus or to get your account stolen. The scammers will change the email associated with your account as well as your phone number if you have one linked to the account. You can try to get your account back as soon as possible, but even then it's probably too late. Oh, and one more thing, because I almost forgot about this, it's always very important to do some research on your prospective clients to make sure they are who they say they are, and also if they seem like a reputable figure or business. Some scammers will claim to be from an established business, but in reality this won't be the case. A good way to determine this is to check the sender's email and put it against the official email the actual business uses. If by some unfortunate chance you have fallen for one of these scams though, don't blame yourself because you're not the one at fault here. People fall for these scams at least a few hundred times a day, and the scammer playbook has evolved greatly from the days of the "congratulations, you won" pop-up boxes. They've evolved so much, in fact, that I would have certainly fallen for at least one of these scams if I didn't know what to look for, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video. Which just makes things scarier in retrospect as someone who is typically very vigilant about this sort of thing. It can be incredibly frustrating knowing we've been conned by a bunch of losers who unironically think tricking people out of their money is a good way to make a quick buck. Although I think I've heard rumors that some people have been coerced into working for a scamming business, which, if true, just makes things so much worse. But the very real possibility of getting scammed on a place like the internet is why it's so important to stay informed and stay alert when it comes to potential scams, and hopefully by doing so you can stop the scam before it takes place. So stay safe out there, and always remember, don't click the links. But anyway, that is going to do it for this video. If you like this video and you want to see more art-related videos and shenanigans from me, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. I post new videos every other Friday, usually about drawing or what have you, but sometimes I dabble in other art-related things as well. If you want to support me further, please check out my other social media accounts as well as my Ko-fi and my Etsy shop, which are all in the description. And lastly, if you made it this far, leave a squid emoji in the comments section below. And remember to keep things civil in the comments, or I will put a whoopee cushion in your chair when you least expect it. And yeah, that's about everything. Thanks for watching.